This is KiwaniTalk. I'm Ray Scaboria. I'll be your host for this evening's program. KiwaniTalk is a public information program brought to you from the facilities of WDHS at Dearborn High School by members of the Dearborn Kiwanis Club and students that help us tape some of our shows. Today, as you probably guessed, the show is something about the Christmas season, and it turns out today that we are interviewing Major Valerie Carr from the Dearborn Heights Salvation Army. Major Carr, it's nice to have you with us today.
Thank you. I think it's nice to be here today.
Well, what we usually do in our shows is, since you're new to the Dearborn Heights, in the last 6 months or so, and let's give us a little bit of your background in the Salvation Army.
Sure. I joined the Salvation Army as an older teenager, so I was about 16 when we started going to the Salvation Army as a church, as a family. And then I was commissioned as a Salvation Army officer in 2003. I got married to my husband, who is also a Salvation Army officer, in 2004. And we have been serving together when he was commissioned in 2005 as Salvation Army officers together all around the world. And we've arrived here in Dearborn Heights for the Salvation Army here that serves Livonia, Garden City, Redford Township, Dearborn, and Dearborn Heights. And we arrived in July of 2022.
Okay. Well, it's a little more than 6 months ago.
Yeah, just barely.
A little bit, yeah. And now I've been involved with the Dearborn Heights Salvation Army for a long time. We were talking about it before the show. But you are at least the 11th Salvation Army officer that we've interviewed on KiwaniTalk. And you knew all the ones. I mentioned the names. We won't go through them now. but I think you knew everybody, didn't you?
Most of them, yeah. Most of them,
yeah. So now tell us a little bit more about some of your previous postings, or however you assignments.
Appointments. We call them appointments in the Salvation Army. So we are appointed by our leaders who decide where we are needed, our skill set. And so my husband and I have served all over the Midwest, in both Illinois and in Midland, where we were in St. Louis area, serving the Missouri and Southern Illinois section of the United States. And we've also held 2 international appointments as a family. We served in Spain, Madrid, Spain, from 2008 to 2011. And then we just moved to Dearborn Heights from our second international appointment, where we served in Kingston, Jamaica, with the eastern half of the island of Jamaica for the last 2 years.
Okay. So you've been out of the country, well, about 4 years on those 2 assignments.
Yeah.
And now tell us the little thing you told me about your children. You have 3 sons.
I do. I have 3 boys. They are 17, 15, and 11, and they all attend Livonia Public School System. And my older 2 were toddlers when we moved home, and so from Spain. And you had asked me if they kept any Spanish. Well, I definitely brought home Spaniards. They played in Spanish and they did all their things in Spanish. So they've since grown out of it and left Spanish behind. But we definitely brought home little Europeans.
It must have been a little adjustment for them to learn
how to
play when they came back to the States. Okay, and your last assignment prior to coming to Dearborn Heights
was Kingston, Jamaica. We worked at...
Oh, that's right. You just told me that. Yeah, I guess you could probably learn... No, they speak English down there.
They do. They speak a dialect.
A little bit of an English accent, don't
we
they?
tried to pick up a little patois, which is an English dialect that they speak, a Creole English, and it was easier for us to finally understand after a couple of years.
Okay. Well, what goes on at the Salvation Army nowadays is this is fundraising season for the Salvation Army. And that means you have to coordinate bell ringers and collect buckets, and I believe the larger portion of Salvation Army funds are usually accumulated at this time of year. And they're there for the whole, to supply funding for the whole year.
Yeah, a large portion of our operating budget for the year round is raised in the 6 weeks of Christmas. So when we go out in mid-November through the end of Christmas Eve will be our last day. A lot of those funds, the majority of our budget is raised from what comes in those buckets.
Well, what I want to put on the air is ringbell.org. in case.
Register to ring, yeah.
Register, which do you prefer, register to
Either
ring?
one, ringbells.org will work, or registertoring.com, where you can sign up to volunteer and take a 2-hour shift somewhere around the neighborhood.
Well, they will be on the screen.
Oh, great.
And we hope that we can encourage a few of our viewers to call up and look for an open spot and go out and ring that bell for a little while.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
And because it means a lot, you know. Sometimes you go by a store and the Salvation Army stand is there, but there's nobody there. That means there was an opening, that there wasn't a person available.
That we weren't able to fill that spot. And really, it raises more funds if someone's standing there.
That's right. It sure does. Anything is better than nothing.
That's true. That's true. Every little bit counts.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the Dearborn Heights Salvation Army and some of the functions that these funds go into there.
So last year, in the last fiscal year, I had our staff run up some numbers. We spent almost $600,000 of state, federal, and local funds that we used to help individuals and families with needs, various needs. We help with rent, utilities, assistance with food. We provide food boxes. And a lot of the time, if we aren't able to help you with exactly what you need, we try and connect you with resources around the community who can help you. And the idea is to help a family thrive, to get families back on their feet and not face eviction, not face hunger. We want to, the phrase that we've been using in the season around the Metro Detroit area is we want to love beyond Christmas. So we raise these funds so that we can share with those in need beyond the Christmas season.
Yes. And it's like the heat bill goes on all winter.
Right.
You know? And if you don't own the house, you got to pay the rent
Right.
all year round.
Right.
You know? And the Salvation Army helps. Those are two areas where you can help people.
Definitely.
Where it's needed, you know. And I know that you have you have had quite a gift system there near Christmas where people can come in and shop for gifts with prices right.
Oh, sure. We help families in need at the Christmas season. So all around the community, you'll be able to see trees that have little angel tree tags, little paper tags that list names of children and ages and sizes of clothing and wishes for their Christmas gift list. What we want to help is make sure that just because if you have to choose between getting paying for your bills or getting food for your groceries or a Christmas present, we want to help alleviate some of that and let you focus on what you need, and we can help provide the help with Christmas. And so donors from all around the community provide gifts and clothing and books and toys, and then we distribute those to families in need that have come to us and applied and gone through a process of figuring out what we can do and how we can help their Christmas season for kids all around the community.
Yeah, it's always, people don't realize it isn't just getting the gift and giving it away. You have to monitor how this goes on, because you want to make sure you're providing to people that have need.
Right.
And if you just make it available, everybody will show up.
Sure. No, every family has gone through an application process and provided documentation to help us understand their situation. And really what we want to help do is we want to provide immediate assistance in the form of Christmas support, but also find ways to connect with these families and their children and their parents and how we can help beyond Christmas. What kinds of programs can we provide? What kind of support can we provide? Is there an ongoing issue that maybe if we helped address, we would be able to stop whatever is causing the issue at Christmas time? So we can help. And even in emergency cases, if a family loses their home to fire, we want to make sure that Christmas isn't detrimental because of a natural disaster, of those kinds of things. So we just love all season long.
Yeah. Now, as an example, what if a family is burned out of their home? How would you handle that? Obviously, they need a place to live all of a sudden.
Sure.
And I'm and you probably cooperate with other organizations.
Right.
But give me a description of how that might be handled.
So there's various organizations that would come to spring to action, so to speak, in that kind of a situation. The Red Cross is involved, the Salvation Army is involved, the local fire department would be involved. So there's all these people and organizations that work together cooperatively to find out what is needed and how we can help and support that. So we would find out based on case-by-case basis what kind of needs the person would have. Is it immediate? Is it long-term? And then our caseworker would work with caseworkers around the community to provide holistic support around the family and that specific kind of situation.
How about a residence? Residence is a big problem. What kinds of temporary residences might be available?
There are a few. We do offer hotel vouchers at times. So based on a case-by-case basis, the family would work with our caseworker and we would find out what resources she knows about and what hotels might be. A hotel stay might be an option, or there might be a shelter that's available, or there's transitional housing, or we might be able to help keep, for example, if they're being evicted, we definitely work with them and their landlords and all the other parties involved to help provide resources to keep them from losing their home if we can.
Yeah. Now I understand and sometimes people need a lot of assistance there.
Sure.
What I'm saying, some people figure they're covered on things like that, like the house is insured and stuff like that, but a lot of the people that might be in this situation, whoops, they weren't insured.
Right.
You know?
So we'll do our best with what we have available to us. And if we can't help, we try to work really hard to find someone who can help in those situations.
Yeah. So what events do you have coming up before Christmas that take a lot of time over there? Do you still have the gift thing and the gymnasium or whatever you call the general purpose room?
Oh, sure. We have all kinds of activity happening at the Salvation Army in December. It's never a dull day in December at the Salvation Army. So this week we have a preschool Christmas party. We have a seniors Christmas party. We will be visiting nursing homes where we go to various nursing homes in the area and we provide a small gift and a short program with our brass band ensemble. We'll have our Christmas assistance distribution in a few weeks where we take those toys that have been donated so lovingly by the community to provide for families in need. We'll be distributing those, distributing food boxes, you name it, and there is always something happening. Any day you stop by the Salvation Army in December, we'll find something for you to put work to do.
Well, at least you believe in taking Sunday off.
Yes.
To go to church.
That's right.
Okay, well, we're going to take a short break now. We have a little advertisement for KiwaniTalk, and we'll be back right after that with Major Valerie Carr from the Dearborn Heights Salvation Army.
There must be a lot of love out there in the world. At least if you think of all the things people say they love. But it's funny. Sometimes the things we love the most are the ones we don't talk about often enough. I mean, the things that bring true change to a child's life, to a community, to the people who come together and make change happen. Think about what you love about your club. Think about the children it reaches. Think about the pride it gives you. And think about this. Thousands of Kiwanians around the world love being members of their clubs too. So think about what could happen if we all shared our Kiwanis stories. After all, there's a million things to love in the world. But there's nothing like a love that makes the world better. So show it. Share it. Let the world know.
Hi, I'm Commissioner Ken Hodder, National Commander of the Salvation Army. Christmas is a time for us to come together, to help others in need. That's really what the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign has been about for more than 130 years. Ever since that first kettle was set out on the wharves of San Francisco by Captain Joseph McPhee, the Red Kettle has become a way for communities to join together and love their neighbors in need, beyond circumstances, beyond economic challenges, beyond political differences, and even beyond the pressures of the holiday season itself. It's been shown that, on average, a volunteer at a Salvation Army Red Kettle can bring in enough money in one day to feed 185 people, or provide Christmas gifts to an entire family, or even pay someone's overdue utility bill, which will keep a family in their home. So your commitment to ring the bell at a Salvation Army Red Kettle will help to raise vital funds, funds that provide emergency shelter, food, childcare, rental assistance, addiction recovery services, Christmas presents for the tree, and a whole lot more. So reach out to your local Salvation Army, call them, or go online and sign up to ring a Red Kettle bell this season. Do it as a family, as a church group, with your friends from work, or even just do it by yourself. I promise that the joys of participating in this work will be immeasurable. Thank you for joining Love's Army and for loving your own neighbors in need beyond whatever struggles they may face. Merry Christmas, and God bless you.
Hi, it's Ray Scaboria. I'm back here with Major Valerie Carr from the Dearborn Heights Salvation Army. And we were talking a little bit about your activities at Christmas. Mm-hmm. And did you have anything you wanted to add to that? We didn't really cut it short. You were talking about...
Well, we really want to remind everyone that outside, when they go shopping, when they're grocery shopping or Christmas shopping this season, and they see a red bell and a red kettle,
put a little something in there.
That's always happening through the month of December. Monday through Saturday, everywhere you go, there'll be a little red kettle.
Somebody from the Salvation Army has to take the bucket out there,
yes.
The kettle,
mm-hmm.
the kettle, and then at the end of the shift, they have to go out and pick it up.
That's true.
And that's a lot of driving around the kettles.
It is.
How many kettles does the Dearborn Heights Salvation Army have out in the field?
We have 20 locations that have allowed us this season to raise funds outside.
Okay. So, and that means, and the normal bell ringing can be anywhere, well, I think the shifts are 2 hours, are they not?
Correct,
yeah,
2 hour
2
shifts.
hours. And you ring from, I think it's 10 to some places go as late as 8.
Correct.
Okay. So that's, how many shifts is that?
A few.
And it's quite a few. You know, I guess that's 5 shifts.
Right.
It's 10 hours. So that means a lot of running around for buckets.
It is, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
But I guess everybody does that. You have different stations that you go and pick up. So probably all of you do that. Is that right?
All around the United States, the Salvation Army, and there are various places in the world.
I meant just at Dearborn Heights. All of you go out and do
that.
You spread that around.
We do. We're all running in various directions at any given moment. Yeah, definitely.
Now, your husband Jeff
mm-hmm.
was. I am a bell ringer, obviously. You know that.
We're very grateful.
And Jeff is he's very punctual. He's much more punctual than some of the other Salvation Army people that I've dealt with.
He would hold that as a badge of honor.
He's very punctual. I can plan. I kind of dress up my site when I have a lot of fun ringing the bell. I really
It can be a lot of fun.
I have a lot of fun.
You can see all these people you never met before.
I see people also. I decided I'm going to sing to them.
Oh, nice.
So I have a ukulele and I play about 12 Christmas songs. They're all. The only one I do that's a hymn is Silent Night. But all the others are like It's Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Music works every time.
Yeah, and people come up and say, "You sing wonderfully." I can't believe it. You know, I've decided what it is. It's there was Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and by the time they were older guys. So people just like to hear an older guy's voice. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. Because no guys came. Well, actually, a couple of guys did come, but it was mostly women would say, "Oh, it sounds so wonderful." But it is fun. It is fun. And everybody is they're a little bit cheered up by that red kettle.
Yeah, it's such a good nostalgic piece of Salvation Army Christmas history for us in America.
Yeah. So how is the fundraising going? It's sort of early, you know?
It is a little early, and we're on course. We're a little ahead of where we were last year. Our local goal, so Metro Detroit, the entire area of Metro Detroit, is raising $8.2 million.
Yeah.
But locally in the Dearborn Heights Salvation Army unit, our goal is $150,000. And so we have to aim to make about $4,000 to $5,000 a night from this point forward in order to meet that goal in time at the end of the season.
Yeah. So, it's funny when you're fundraising, you sort of wonder how you're doing, but you really can't tell.
Sure, sure.
You'll never know if someone drops a $20 gold piece in the bucket. You're never going to know.
Until we count it later.
Now, tell me about that. In all your Salvation Army fundraising, tell me of some of the memorable things that have happened. There's got to have been a few.
Oh, there's tons of stories, and some of them are appropriate.
Just the ones that you recall.
Yeah, well, in our
that you've been involved in.
We've often got in one of our appointments when we were in the border of Wisconsin and Illinois, we would get gold coins regularly, but they would be wrapped in $20, like $120 bills, and they'd put or gold coins. So people would just protect the gold around the coin with lots of other money, and we were very excited about it. And it was a lot of fun. It's always fun to meet volunteers that would come with a story about how the Salvation Army touched their life or how the Salvation Army helped their family so many generations ago, and that they're giving back to what the Salvation Army gave to them by ringing the bell and helping raise funds. And so it's a lot of fun. I heard a story, you play your ukulele, and we often tell people have a little fun out there. Play an instrument or sing. If you want to dress up. When I was a teenager and I was doing bell ringing, I would dress up as like a Christmas present or a Christmas tree one year. I heard a story of a little boy who played his recorder for 4 straight hours, and he only knew hot cross buns. But he had been told that music helped raise funds, so he brought his recorder to play for 4 straight hours.
Why not? Hey, it made the time pass for him.
That's right, it did, it did.
I don't know about the other folks.
But yeah, it's a really great, it's a lot of fun, and there's lots of such generous people.
I hope that we have the ringbell.org and
Register to ring.
Yeah. I hope we have them on the screen again.
I hope so. It'd be great. People join us and help raise funds. They say there was a study that 90 cents of every dollar that is raised at this time of year goes back to helping the community with the Salvation Army. So everything you're putting in is going right back out into the community in ways we can help people get back on their feet and love them beyond Christmas.
Yeah. Well, now, in the meantime, you have a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 12-year-old.
Yes.
And they come home every night and they're hungry.
They do.
You
they
feed them.
Eat everything in sight. They do.
Do you ever go to the refrigerator, open the door, and everything's gone?
Yes, often. And I can hear the refrigerator opening when I'm in another room.
Well, now, did they get involved in some of the Salvation Army activities?
Yeah, my older two both play brass instruments, and so they're part of the brass ensembles that will travel around. What
do they play? Which instrument?
My oldest plays, he plays a trumpet, a cornet, and then my middle son plays a tuba.
A tuba.
Which is a little hard to carry around at a kettle, but he manages.
Yeah. Tuba really adds to the sound, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You get those low notes.
Yeah.
So now, what do you see happening? I mean, it might be a little early. You've been there a little over 6 months, but what do you see maybe changing at the Dearborn Heights Salvation Army in the next year or so?
I think only good things. It will happen. And so we're really hoping to come alongside and partner with those who have already been part of the mission of the Salvation Army in our community and just be part of what they're already doing and join them and join what's already happening, the good that's happening, and see ways that we can come along, be supportive, and be part of the fight for good that happens in this community with the leaders and the members of the Salvation Army that are already there.
Well, I know a couple of things that are more mundane, but they're important. The building just got a new roof, did it not?
It did. It did get a new roof.
And I understand that soon there's going to be a new parking lot or a resurfaced parking lot.
A resurfaced parking lot. If you've ever driven in the parking lot of the Salvation Army currently on Warren Street, it has a few holes. Yeah. And so we are looking to, it is being replaced. We're on the schedule for a replacement. So yeah, that's coming soon. We got a new playground put in the back so the community can enjoy a nice playground in our area as well.
Has there been some activity at the playground since?
There has. Well, it got up, and then we had that nice little warm section of time, and then there haven't been many toddlers out there lately with this 39-degree weather.
No, it's a little chilly.
It's a little cold.
But they'll come back.
They will. They will.
Yeah. Now, what events? Let's go through the year, and outside of one thing we didn't talk about is that. The Salvation Army in Dearborn Heights has a sports program for young people. Can you outline that just briefly?
Yeah, so in the last year, last year they had been working with the Westland Salvation Army, the Salvation Army out of the Westland, Michigan, and to organize a basketball program for young people to play in both the Westland gym, the gym at the Westland unit, and our gym here at Dearborn Heights. So it was really managed out of the Westland Salvation Army, but they were using our gym. So we're really hoping to find ways, if that, not specifically that maybe, but definitely to partner and find ways to use our gym for the good of the community. But yeah, the basketball program was quite the program, and it's still being managed by the Westland Salvation Army to really kind of find ways to involve young people in a activity that is healthy and positive and provides a good example of teamwork and sportsmanship and how to grow together.
Yeah. Well, we're down to the last couple of minutes, and how about later in the year? What activities go on in say in the warmer months with the Salvation Army?
So in the summertime, part of the funds that we raise at Christmas help us send kids to camp, to sleepaway camp. And so during the summer months, you'll find our big van, our red 15-passenger van, full of the appropriate amount of children and their luggage as we drive them to a camp in part of about 45 minutes away from here, Echo Grove Camp here just outside Detroit. And we will give kids who maybe don't get a chance to get away or have never had a chance to go to camp, we'll get to do a sleepaway camp where they'll do crafts and they'll learn sports and they'll get to go fishing and they'll get to go hiking, all the things to do outside. So that's one of the things that we get to do in the summer months.
Okay. Well, Valerie, it's been really great to have you come.
Thanks.
And we'd just like to put in one more, encouragement for people to go out and consider ringing the bell. And at least if you don't ring the bell, put a little something in that kettle when you pass it, because it only goes on for the next, it goes on almost to New Year's, but it funds all the programs for the Salvation Army for almost the whole year.
Yeah. Every little bit helps us love beyond Christmas.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us and watching our show. Join us again soon.